Hi everybody, welcome to Shavasana. Today we're going to have a flow to help you fly into crow. Crow is probably the most elementary arm balance. It's actually very challenging despite being the easier arm balance. They are all challenging, but we are going to flow into this in a way that you really feel like you can grasp the shape of crow. So to do this, if you have a block or two and can bring them to your mat, great. If you don't, that's totally fine as well. We're just going to go with what we have, and we have plenty of variations and options for you. So let's get started today in a pose that stretches our hips out, because it's really important to have hip mobility so you can get those knees up inside your armpits almost when you're in crow. So moving forward, hands and knees. Bring your shins to the mat and then start to walk them out pretty wide, coming into frog pose. So knees as wide as you can, hips in between your knees. Try not to shift them forward. Bring the insides of your feet to the mat, and then perhaps lower your forearms down onto the floor or stay lifted on your palms, whatever works for you. So this is often a posture we use in yin. It really gets deep into the connective tissues, and we're kind of doing it in a yin way to start because we're not really warm yet. So it's going to get into our connective tissues, help us to open up. So just breathe deeply into this posture. Take a deep inhale through your nose and deep exhale through your nose. Trying to keep that breath flowing through your nose for the rest of practice. And then close your eyes. Now this is usually the part where we set in an intention, and you may do so if you want, but I also want to take the opportunity to give a story behind the pose. So in the epic Mahabharata, which is a very beautiful, long story, very old in India, there is a tale about a crow. This crow was brilliantly beautiful. It used to fly over this small town, and all the inhabitants of the town would look up at it and admire it for its strength and beauty. It knew that it pretty much ruled that town and that everyone loved it. Well, one day its swan came into this town, and the crow felt threatened. He told the swan, "Hey, swan, you're never going to be anything like me. Everybody loves me and I'm the best, so you might as well leave." Well, the swan at first ignored him, but then the crow kept going, trying to instigate a fight with the swan, so the swan would either leave or fight him back. Eventually, the swan challenged the crow to a flight across the sea. Now, the crow had not been used to flying long distances, but the swan had. And when the race started, the crow started out as fast as he can, thinking he could win the race, but he soon started faltering. And pretty soon, he started dropping towards the ocean, not being able to even hold himself up anymore. He cried out for help, and the benevolent swan went back, scooped him up into his beak, and brought him back to safety on the land. The crow then thanked the swan and asked for his forgiveness. And I think this tale is just something to show us it's not about ego. Never proceed with ego. Just proceed with doing your best. It's not about showing off or showing anyone what you can do. Just be in your body, be in your mind, be in where you are, and proceed with doing the best that you can. And I'd really like you to focus on that in our practice today. All right, everybody. Let's start to come out of the pose, opening the eyes, and then walking the hands forward, perhaps sliding your hips down in front of you and sliding your feet behind you and heel-toeing them in together. Good. Walk your hands back, roll down onto your back, bend your knees, and then Bring your knees in towards your chest and open them a little wider than your rib cage. Reach your arms through in between your knees so that you can grab your ankles or perhaps your feet, maybe even the big toes, and come into happy baby. Pulling those thighs down around your rib cage and really flexing the feet at the ceiling as if you could paint footprints on the ceiling. Again, getting into our hips here. Continue to send that breath wherever it needs to go, that prana, that energy. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. One more breath here. All right. Release the feet. Allow the knees to stay bent and bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Bring your arms up, flexing them at the ceiling. All right, so arms are straight, pointed up at the ceiling, hands are flexed. So now start to lift up your heels off the mat. Then lift your toes up. Now with this shape, I want you to curl the bottom of your back up and bring those knees up towards your armpits while also curling your head, neck, and shoulders up. Bring it all the way together. So you're basically in a supine crow position. You're also using your core here. These are our core ab sit-ups we're going to do to warm up. For now, for this first one, just hold it. Hold it and find that shape. You're still working your core. Really get those knees up high onto the insides of your arms. Peel the bottom of your back up and peel your shoulders up. So the middle part of your back is supporting you on the floor, and the rest of you is curling in together. You can point your toes. You can even bring the tips of your big toes together. Keep flexing your hands. So this is your upside down version of crow. When you're on your hands, this is the shape you have, but we're on our backs doing it. So you've just done crow. All right, release your feet and keep your hands where they are. So now keeping our hands where they are, we're gonna do 10 crow abdominal exercises. We're gonna crunch in and out. All right, so let's go doing that shape again, in, and then when you come out, just kind of release the feet a little bit down, not all the way down, and then come back up. Let's do it. Let's start in. Lift the knees, crunch them up and in, and out, and in for 2, and out, in for 2. Make sure you're rolling up your shoulders, out, and in, and out, and in, and out. And 5, out, 6, out, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Release everything to the floor. Release your arms this time. Let your knees knock in together. We're going to do that one more time, one more set of 10. So again, just think of rolling your hips up and rolling your shoulders up. So on the in, everything rolls in up together. On the out, you can let your shoulders and your head release back down. Release your feet a little bit, but not all the way down. All right, arms up to the ceiling, flex your hands. Lift up your heels to start, and let's go. In, curl, and out. Curl up, and out. And 3, and out. And 4, out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Letting the knees knock in together, arms by your sides. And from here, start to walk your feet out straight, long on the mat. Lift your arms up overhead. Give yourself a big stretch. And on your next inhale, start to roll up to a seat. all the way up. Good. All right, cross your legs in front of you. Release your hands down on the mat. Push your weight into your hands so you can release your feet behind you and come into tabletop position. Let's do a few cat-cows here. Inhale, drop your belly, look up. Exhale, round your spine, gaze at your navel for cat. Inhale, your belly, look up. Exhale, round your spine, take your cat. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Good. Come to neutral. Tuck your toes under and lift your knees up just about an inch off the mat, hovering them here, engaging those core muscles again. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, shoot those hips up and back, coming into your first down dog. So good. Perhaps you want to walk your dog here, so bend one knee and then the other. Continuing to keep that breath moving as you switch whichever leg is bent. Getting that alternate hamstring stretch, making sure you're rooting down through all 10 fingers, the entireties of your palms, really pushing those hands into the mat so you can get that spine long. All right, stop walking the dog and now bend your knees a little bit and turn the toes outward. Walk your hands back just about half a hand and then bend your knees, open them up and send your hips down in between them. Coming into this downward facing frog pose basically. Come back up to down dog, turn the toes forward, maybe walk the hands out a smidge. Now bend both knees pretty deeply here so you can really tilt that tailbone up and feel the extension in your spine. Then from here, start to release those heels to the mat, trying to keep the back as long as you have it now. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, move forward to plank. Hold your plank. Perhaps lower to your knees if you want to take a softer version. Take 3 breaths here. 2. Last one. And then on your next exhale, chaturanga, bend your elbows, lower halfway. And then lower all the way to the mat. Untuck your toes. Keep your hands as they are. Peel your head, neck, and shoulders up, coming into Cobra. Perhaps push the tops of your feet into the mat to lift your kneecaps. Find that spinal extension. And then release the head to the mat. Push your hands into the mat to lift your hips, lift your back. Open the knees wide, send your hips back and down. Take child's pose. Good. On your next inhale, move forward to tabletop. Stacking those shoulders right over the wrists, hips right over the knees. Tuck the toes under, hover the kneecaps up about an inch, maybe 2. Using your core here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, shoot those hips up and back, come into down dog. Good. Bend your knees, gaze forward. Step or hop to the top of the mat, coming into your forward fold, Uttanasana. On your inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand with a flat back. Arms come overhead, Urdhva Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, release your arms by your sides, Tadasana. So good. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your palms, bend your knees, step to the back of the mat, high plank, lower to your knees if you wish, and then chaturanga on your exhale. Inhale, take your back bend, cobra or up dog with your hips lifted, and exhale, shoot those hips up and back, taking your downward facing dog. Good. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift your heels as you bend your knees, turn the toes outward. Start to walk your hands back, open the feet a little wider, and then continue walking your hands back, lower your hips down in between your knees, bring your hands in front of your heart center, So you're in Malasana, Yogi Squat at the back of your mat. Knees are wide, pointed upward. Breathe here, getting deep into the hips. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Plant your palms on the mat. Try to shift your weight into your hands here and just feel what it feels like to stay here for a moment. Shifting the weight into the hands, kind of leaning your knees into your elbows. This is not crow, but this is just kind of a feeling of moving the momentum forward, okay? Then from here, start to lift your hips, walk your feet, heel toe the feet, hips width distance, then walk your hands out to the front of the mat, coming back into your downward facing dog. Inhale as you lift your right leg up behind you. Exhale as you move forward to plank, bringing that right knee to the outside of the right elbow, holding it there. Then send it back to three-legged dog. Next, inhale, step your right foot through in between your hands. Coming into Crescent Lunge, lift your torso, raise your arms. I'm just gonna adjust my mic pack here. So staying in Crescent, trying to square off those hips to the front of the room. Keep your pelvis neutral. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, spin the back heel down, open your arms to a T, coming into Warrior Two. Perhaps heel toe that front foot in, so you have heel to arch alignment. So good. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, spin your back toes outward as you bend that back knee, coming into wide-legged goddess squat. Really good. Bring your hands to your hips and just stay here for a moment. Then straighten your legs, turn the toes to face forward right in front of you. Arms come out to a T. Exhale as you hinge forward, bending into your Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. Keeping the weight shifted forward into the balls of your feet. Try to bring your forehead to the mat. Good. Press your hands into the mat so you can lengthen your spine. Lift up about halfway. Then when you found that length, bring your hands to your hips and lift your torso all the way up. Turn your right toes to the front of the mat. Bend your right knee and come back into Warrior Two. Good. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, bend your right elbow and bring it on top of your right knee. Left arm lifts to the ceiling. Option 1. Option 2, release your right hand to the inside of your right foot, coming a little deeper into that hip. Option 3, reach the left arm overhead towards the front of the room. Bicep is by the ear. Option 4, you can bind here, reaching your left arm behind you, right arm underneath you, meeting those hands together. All right, wherever you are, come back to option 1, right elbow on right knee, and then look down at your right foot. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot as you release both hands onto the mat, framing your right foot. Step your right foot back to meet your left, taking your high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, and exhale, shooting those hips up and back, taking your downward facing dog. Good. From here, bend your knees, turn your toes outward. Open the feet up a little wider. Start to walk the hands back and then lower the hips down in between the knees, coming into Malasana, Yogi Squat. Hands at heart center. Try to keep a lift here in your torso as you get deep into the hips. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, plant your palms down in front of you. Shift the weight forward to just feel that momentum, to just feel as your hips lift a little bit while you bring your head forward in front of your hands. Then from here, start to straighten your legs, lifting your hips all the way up, heel toe, your feet hips width distance, walk your hands forward in the mat, coming into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up behind you. Exhale, come forward into plank, bending your left knee, bringing it to the outside of your left elbow. Try to bring it up as high as you can. Then shoot back into three-legged dog. On your next inhale, bend your left knee, step the left foot through in between the hands. Come up into Crescent Lunge. Arms come overhead, torso lifts. Hips are square and pelvis. Try to keep it neutral, straight up and down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, spin the back heel down, coming into warrior two. Open those arms to a T. Check your feet to heel to arch alignment. And stay here for a breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, start to bend your back knee, turning those back toes outward, coming into this wide-legged squat facing the right side of the room. Bring your hands to your hips. Just stay here and get deep into those hips. Breathe. On your next inhale, straighten your legs. Turn all 10 toes to face that right wall right in front of you. Open your arms to the T. And then exhale, hinge forward, coming into your wide-legged forward fold, that hamstring stretch where your hands come to the mat. Weight is shifted into the balls of your feet. Try to bring your forehead to the mat. So good. Walk your hands out in front of you. Push them into the mat so you can lengthen your spine. When you've found the flat back, bring your hands to your hips. Lift your torso all the way up. Good. Turn your left toes to face the front of the room. Rebend that left knee. Open the arms to a T, warrior two. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bend your left elbow, bring it on top of the left knee. Right arm extends toward the ceiling. This is option one. Option two, release the left hand to the inside of the left foot. Option three, extend that right arm overhead towards the front of the room, bicep right near the ear. And option four is taking the bind, reaching that right arm around behind you, left arm underneath, joining the hands together, and trying to open up the heart and the chest here. Release the bind if you have it, and everyone come back to option one with the left elbow on top of the left knee, right arm towards the ceiling. Look down at your left foot. Pivot onto the ball of your right foot and release both hands to the mat, framing the left foot. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. Take your high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, shoot those hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. Good. Bend your knees, look forward. Step or hop to the top of the mat, taking your forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms come overhead for Urdhva Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, release your hands by your sides. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, sit your hips back and down, taking chair pose. Bring your hands to heart center and twist your torso to the right, trying to hook that left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Keep breathing. Come back to center, hands still at heart center. Twist your torso to the left, hook the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Come back to center. Inhale, arms overhead. This time, start lifting your heels up, shifting the weight into your toes. Hold it here. Sink down a little deeper and deeper. Keep going with those heels lifted until your hips touch the tops of your heels. Then lower your heels down, lower your hips onto the mat, coming down onto the mat. Roll all the way down onto your backs. Start to lift your hips up, peeling them up, coming into bridge pose. Knees should be stacked right over the ankles. Really lift those hips towards the ceiling and energetically send the prana towards the knees so you're not dumping any weight into your shoulders, or not the bulk of the weight at least. You will have some weight there. Take another breath here. Inhale. Exhale as you roll down. Let the knees knock in together when you come down. Take a breath. And then roll up to a seat. You can either grab behind your knees or simply roll up whatever way you wish. So knees are bent. Walk them in as close as you can and extend your arms out in front of you, dropping the underside of your arms right on top of your knees. Now from here, walk your feet back, lifting up the heels, finding crow in a seated position. Now perhaps you can roll back a little bit more and balance on your tailbone. So you can engage the abs here and find yourself in seated crow with the toes lifted. Good. Really push those knees into the bottoms of your arms, preferably the closer to your armpits, the better. Inhale. Exhale. Keep holding. You can get out of it and come back in. Inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale, release it. From here, cross your legs in front of you. Place your hands on the mat. Shift your weight forward, coming into tabletop. Inhale, take a cow, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine and look down. Inhale for your cow, and exhale for your cat. All right, we've reached the peak. Let's try it. So from here, I just want you to step your left foot forward outside of your left hand, then step your right foot forward outside of your right hand. Sit your hips back and down, coming into Malasana, Yogi Squat. Just getting into our hips a little deeper so we make sure they're nice and warm and loose. All right, I'm gonna back up on my mat here a little bit. Now this is a place where if you have a block, it's really great to try this pose with a block under your head to start, so you can use that to stop you from rolling forward and crashing down. It can really help stabilize you so you feel the shape until you're ready to try it without a block. There are many block variations. I'm just gonna go with this one today. So you can either have it on the medium setting or the higher setting. You're gonna, right now, staying in Malasana, place the block out in front of you and kind of shift your weight forward and see where your head lands. You want your head to land directly on top of the block with your feet staying where they are. All right, so find that shape and then come back up. Now from here, I want you to shift out of Malasana a little bit to bring those feet a little bit back behind you and lifting your heels off the mat. Now is when you dig those knees up into your arms and get ready to move forward. So knees are above the elbows, perhaps right up into the armpits. Heels are lifted. Start to lift the knees a little bit more, straightening the legs a little bit more so you can move the weight forward. Lower your head down onto the block. And then from here, perhaps play with lifting one foot or maybe both. And if you have to adjust your block, do. I'm going to need a lower setting for me. And maybe you found your crow with the block. And if you're here, just hold it. See how long you can hold it. See if you can lift those heels up even higher behind you. Find your stability. And then maybe you want to try it without the block. So then move the block off to the side. Again, place those hands about shoulder width and dig those knees into the backs of the arms. You might get a little sensation of rug burn here from your knees rubbing into your arms, and that can be pretty normal, especially to start until you get used to the body movement and where the weight distribution is. All right, so place the hands on the mat, digging the knees into the back of the arms, straighten the legs a little bit. The weight forward into your hands, like we did in Malasana earlier when we were playing with those weight shifts. Shift it forward a little bit more. I know the block's not there now. Maybe play with lifting one leg. Maybe play with lifting both feet. See if you can balance. And then release the feet to the mat. Lower your hips all the way down. Good. All right, you did great. Let's lower all the way down onto our backs. Come to the middle of the mat. Bend both knees in towards your chest. Give them a big squeeze. Good. Open your arms to a T. And then drape both of your knees together over to the right, finding a simple twist. Keep sending that breath. allowing your body to start to relax. Bring the knees to center and drape them over to the left. Come back to center. Squeeze those knees in one more time. One big squeeze. And then lengthen the legs along the mat. Open the feet up, hips width distance, and bring the arms by your sides. Try to open the arms a little bit wider than normal so you have some nice distance between your rib cage and your arms. Close your eyes and let gravity take hold as you melt everything down into the mat and just let go. Allow your body to integrate this practice as you release and just enjoy a few moments of peace in our final pose, Shavasana. Gently bring your awareness back to this space, to this time, to this body, being where you are. Perhaps just noticing the rise and fall of your chest as it expands and contracts with your breath. Bend your knees. Either roll to one side and push up, or grab the underside of one or both knees and rock up. Keep your eyes closed as you come to a comfortable seat on the mat, any seat of your choosing. Allow your hands to fall wherever they do naturally. Either return to your intention now or perhaps just reflect upon the little story at the beginning of our class about the crow and about ego and about doing our best and embracing ourselves and moving for our best intentions and discipline and learning. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Palms come to touch. Exhale, bring your hands down in front of your heart center. We are so grateful to have you practice with us today. Namaste.